Welcome to the Classy Counsel, Reflections for the Wise and Elegant Lady. I am Nadia, your elegance coach, and in this weekly podcast, I bring you insights on how to cultivate the attributes of a lady that is elegant and not only elevated in terms of appearance, but also on a much deeper level, spiritually elevated. You'll find cross-references made with verses from the Bible and from other sources of wisdom. Whether you are a beginner or advanced in your journey towards the most elegant version of yourself, a curious learner, or simply looking for some more elegant mindset inspiration, you are in the right place. So, grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and join me on this journey of discovery and growth. Compassion is the basis of all true religion. Dalai Lama. Compassion is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, especially their suffering. It's a deep empathy that goes beyond mere sympathy and involves the desire to help or alleviate pain. Synonyms of compassion can be empathy, sympathy, pity, kindness, or mercy. And opposites, you have indifference, cruelty, callousness, apathy. Why do I consider compassion to be a trait of the elegant woman? Because compassion, as we have just seen in the definition, is about understanding, feeling others. I often repeat that the essence of etiquette and good manners, which are skills that the elegant woman masters, is consideration for others. And this cannot be pretended. It is not waiting for a return of favor or attention. It is really an ability to be there mentally, emotionally with others and offering the sweetness of your presence. That means the elegant woman can put herself in somebody's shoes, or at least she will try her best to do it. Compassion isn't shown only when things are doing great. It really becomes the testimony of a noble heart when compassion is shown during difficult interactions. And I know it's difficult. I'll give you a little account of something that happened to me last week. My two daughters are not in the same school. They are 10 minutes drive apart, and to drop or pick them up, you only have a 15-minute slot, so it's pretty intense. I run every day. And this particular day, I was late more than usual. You know, one of those days running errands, trying to check off stuff from your to-do list as much as you can. And of course, it is during these moments that everybody calls you and needs you. Anyways, I was running late. So to pick up my first daughter, I couldn't park on the usual spot because it was too far. I parked on the spot of a retirement home. I thought, no one is ever here. I only need 5 minutes. Let's go. I came back 5 minutes after, literally 5 minutes, with my daughter in my arms. And this lady was so upset. I explained to her calmly, I understand that's my fault. Like, I take accountability. I never park here usually, but it was, today it was impossible. I only took 5 minutes, but, I apologized and went on my way because I didn't have time anyways. And she kept on going. She started to use a bad language, saying I made her late, yelling that she will be giving my plate to the police. And she kept on talking. And she was rude. In my old self would have been petty. The petty version of me would have, taken my sweet time to leave and tell her that, if you want to go to the police, you got some time for someone who's supposedly running late. But I remembered, number one, that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. And I will not have somebody's behavior influence my persona nor my good mood. So what I did next is number two, I started to look at her with compassion instead. Very difficult when you have someone in front of you acting like a demon. And I told myself, okay, she seems stressed. She's of a certain age. I told myself, you don't know what people are going through. You never know. Maybe she's fighting depression right now. Maybe she feels lonely, abandoned, betrayed. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know why she's like this. Okay. Because the truth is, like I always say, happy people don't act like this. They don't go on and on about an issue. They're just happy and they take life lightly. It does help when you're thinking of scenarios, relatable scenarios, about giving a reason as to why the person is acting a certain way. You could imagine anything. Could be like, oh, maybe she realized, I don't know, maybe she had a disagreement with her child and now the child doesn't want to see her anymore, or maybe she got divorced, or maybe, you don't know. And even if it's not true, I mean, it could be that something happened, and it would also be nothing happened. That's just the way she is. It's more to help you in that case, to shift your state of mind, to not be fazed, to not be bothered, to not feel attacked personally. And I think that's the most important things to do. All right. So, and also me saying that people go through stuff is not a way for me to say, oh, if you are going through things in your life and life is difficult with you, it's a good excuse for you to be mean to others. That's not what I'm saying. But keep in mind, it's a good way to understand that most stressful situations you are being put through are not really your fault. If you've done nothing to make the person depressed, then it isn't to be taken for you personally. You can show compassion, take it lightly to help the person realize that they can resolve issues without being aggressive. And you will protect your own energy. You won't have your mood destroyed because of it. You will rise above the situation the person is trying to drag you in. Moreover, in general, people expect us to respond with the same energy as them. But really, by demonstrating true lightness, detachment, while remaining respectful, you have demonstrated great nobility of character. And although this is not the goal, they realize that next to your dignity, they look ridiculous, and they have no other choice than to calm down. There was this incident recently in Toronto where a PETA activist came to disrupt a premiere presented by the American singer Pharrell Williams. She was with her sign, shouting, and Pharrell turns to her, addresses her, and says, "You are right. You are absolutely right. God bless you." And he even invited the audience to bless her too, and they did. And he remained calm. He didn't raise his voice. He gave her the attention she was looking for without giving her the reaction she was looking for. You could see in her reaction that she didn't expect Pharrell to speak to her kindly. So she just kept on shouting while turning towards one of the cameras. So she wasn't even turning to him anymore. And after that, she got escorted by security. But everything went very smoothly. It was not aggressive, it was not violent. The only thing that was violent was just her attitude. That was just her. So I thought this was a very classy way to handle a situation. And if I were in her shoes, I would have felt very ridiculous. Now, compassion can be done just by sharing a kind word to a stranger. So it's not only during difficult times also. You can show compassion, practice compassion with small gestures every day. You don't know how you can turn around an entire day for someone, just with a smile, just with a compliment, just a warm hello, how are you? Like a hello, how are you that you mean. You also show compassion by being an active listener. We like to talk, don't we? But Can we do this exercise more often when we let the other person speak more than we do? Try it today at work with your colleagues, or at school if you go to school, or at home with your spouse. Try it. And yes, with your spouse too. I mean, he's your spouse. You can listen to him. Listen with attention, deep attention, and the intention to understand, to feel what they feel, with no intention whatsoever to tell your side of the story, to tell your own feelings, but just listen. Compassion is also shown with patience. I'll give you another example. So I have this tendency to finish my 8 years old sentences because she's at this age where she has a zillion things to say, but she doesn't know how to express everything easily. She would start a sentence, stop in the middle, go back to the beginning, lose herself in her thoughts, trying to find the right words, going back again to the beginning of the sentence. And of course, I lose patience and I just finish the sentence flat. And I realized this will not help her. And also, that's not really elegant parenting. So I decided, okay, Nadia, you have to show compassion. You stop what you're doing, whatever it is, cooking, cleaning. You stop. You sit. So you show with your body language, you're here, you're interested, you understand, you listen, and you want to feel what she feels. And you look at her in the eyes. And I'm still practicing it. Now, how can you cultivate compassion? Well, there's no long list of things you can do. I think the main thing you have to do is to get out of your own heads and own feelings. Not completely, of course, but especially us women, we are very much in touch with our feelings, which is a good thing because we know how to feel them, how to identify them, how to deal with them. But staying too much in there should not block us from seeing that the person in front of us also has feelings of their own. We can all be in the same party, for example. This is just an example for you to understand the difference between perception and reality. We can all be in the same party, and yet we will not perceive the night or the evening the same way because the reality isn't real. I don't know how to explain that, but it's just what we perceive, what we feel. And we are all different. We don't have the same insecurities inside of us, nor the same wants, nor the same experiences, the same joys, the same perceptions. So one thing can be very offensive or hurtful to you, but totally neutral and okay to someone else. It won't affect them. And being compassionate is reaching this ability to say, I hear you, I understand your feeling. Instead of saying, oh, why are you mad for this? Like, how come you cry for this? You're so overreacting. That's dismissive. When people share their hurt, their concerns, even if you don't understand how is that a big deal for them, you have to listen and understand that this is moving the person, although it doesn't move you. You have to understand whatever is not hurtful to you could be hurtful to someone. And I understand this is easy to say. I really encourage you to work on it a little bit every day. It's better to do baby steps every day than trying to change completely in one day, because that's not going to happen. But try to do your best and don't be too harsh on yourself if you're not able to practice it every day, all the time, and be perfect. That's because perfection doesn't exist anyways. All right, so I am leaving you today to meditate on this verse from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as God forgave you in Christ. If you liked this episode, if you have any questions or suggestions, don't hesitate to leave me a comment or a little like, and please share. If you also like affirmation words, you can visit my YouTube channel, Madame Kawango. You will find a video specifically on compassion in the Affirmations for the Elegant Woman playlist. For even more advices to become the best version of yourself in etiquette, elegance, communication, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube. You will always find me there under the same name, Madame Cabral. And thank you. Remember, compassion does not seek anything in return. I will see you next week for our last episode for this first season.